How to break out from sin. You can't live a victorious life until you have been break out of sin. A man can't enjoy God's presence and enjoys God's blessing and his fullness if he's not being break out from sin. Some persons have experienced stagnance and they have experienced failure, depression, and setback because some certain sins are speaking against them in their life. You need to break out from sin for you to enjoy God's presence. When Satan is having a legal right over a man's life because of the sin he has committed, that man will not move forward in life. Many persons have experienced satanic bondage and they are being caged in life not to get to their breakthrough because there is a sin that is speaking against them. How do you break out of sin then? One thing you need to understand about sin is that God does not have issue with sin anymore. God has dealt with sin once and for all. The Bible said in John 3 verse 16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son." God loved us so much that God had to provide solution to take sin out of your life by giving us Jesus. Jesus came to this earth to deliver us and set us free from sin. So the solution and antidote to breaking out of sin, it is not strength, it is not might, but Jesus Christ. The issue God have with man is not sin but unbelief. Many persons are living in the reality of sin that make them to be caged and for satanic oppression to be upon their life. When a man is living in the reality of sin, is under the first project of Adam, and the constitutions and the laws of Adam will keep speaking for him and speaking against him. Lot of persons are still living in the reality of the former Adam, not on the reality of God. A lot of persons knew that Jesus has come to this earth to die for our sin, but not everyone are living in the reality of Christ. The solution to break out from sin is not by your strength, nor by your power, nor by your will, but living in the reality of Christ. Let me give you a Bible verse. In Romans 5 verse 17, the Bible said, "For if by one man's offense death reigned by one, much more they which receive abundance of grace and of the gift of righteousness shall reign in life by one, Jesus." The strength of Satan lies in between the failure and the mistake or the sin of Adam. Satan does not have power and strength until he projects the mistake and the sin of Adam. We were all caged, we were all separated and put in bondage because each of us were living in the reality of Adam. God saw that the strength of Satan was that Satan was using the mistake of Adam to put us in bondage and separate us from his blessing and his breakthrough. God had to provide solution by giving us Jesus, Kamanatovia, to cancel the mistake of Adam so that Satan will not have much power and strength over our life. So anyone that enter into the reality of Christ through belief will be saved from sin. Kabana. The Bible said in Romans 10 verse 9, it said, "He that believe in Jesus and confess him as his Lord and believe that God raised him from the dead in 3 days shall be saved." It means that the solution to receiving breakthrough or being set free from sin is to believe in Jesus and live in the reality of Christ. The sin you have today, God does not have issue with it. The issue God has is that men don't want to accept the solution God has provided for them. Satan today is still using the mistake of Adam to cage people's life, put them in depression, put them in bondage, put them in shame, and collect everything that belongs to them, blinding their eyes not to see the reality and for them not to believe in Jesus, because they knew that Jesus is the solution to breaking out and being set free from sin. When you live in the reality of Christ, you can be able to stand in the goodness of God and break out from the reality of sin and bondage of Satan. The Bible said the Lord came to reveal sin and to condemn sin. It means that Satan knew that when a man lives in the reality of Adam, he will always be found guilty. Kabalatos. But when a man lives in the reality of Christ that projects righteousness and deliver us, he will be break out from the powers and the shackles of sin. How much do you live in the reality of Christ? Do you think more of sin? Do you live more of sin? Or do you cast the spell of sin out of your life? Or you switch yourself or align in the reality of sin? The Bible said, as many that are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. Let me paraphrase this to you. As many that believe and live in the reality of God, they are the sons of God. They are the sons of God. The reason sin is still having dominance over your life and caging you and projecting bondage upon your life is that you have not so much believe in Jesus and live in the reality of Christ. The Bible said in John 1 verse 12, it said, as many that have believed on him, to them he gave power to become the sons of God. It means that anyone who believes in Jesus is being transfigured and empowered to overcome the power of sin. It means Jesus is the solution to breaking out of sin, and any man that want to break out of sin must believe and live in the reality of Christ. There is power believing in Jesus. There is power living in the reality of Christ. When a man believes in Jesus, he enters into the supernatural realm to become the sons of God. There is a power a man attracts upon himself. There is a power that comes upon a man that believes in Jesus and live in the reality of Christ. When a man so much believes in Jesus, that same power that made Jesus to conquer sin will rest upon that man. So the solution to breaking out of sin is for you to live in the reality of Christ and believe in God. The Bible says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. How do you resist the devil? Believing in Jesus and living on the reality of Christ. When you so much believe on Jesus and live on the reality of Christ, sin does not have dominance over your life, because you will be so empowered by the power of God to become a conqueror over sin and satanic project against your life. Many persons are crying and praying unto God, oh Lord, deliver me out of this sin. And God is saying, I have provided solution unto you. God has provided the solution that man need, and that solution is in Jesus. There is no man that encountered Jesus that will not receive a transformation of life. When Zacchaeus encountered Jesus, his life never remained the same. When Paul encountered Jesus, his life never remained the same. When Peter encountered Jesus, his life also never remained the same. And I tell you the truth, when you encounter Jesus, your life will never remain the same. So the solution you need to break out from that sin is Jesus, because God does not have issue with sin anymore, because he has provided a solution. Where God, his pain is that man did not believe on the solution he has given to them, and man is not living on the reality, on the solution. When a man is outside the solution or the purpose by which he was given to live according to, when a man deviates from it, the man will always struggle to survive. So the purpose for man to break out of sin is for man to believe in Jesus. Stop believing in the reality of Adam. Stop living in the reality of the power of sin, because when you encounter Jesus and believe in Jesus, you will break out and be set free from that sin that is holding you back. You too can overcome that sin. Testify that Jesus is glorious and is beautiful. If you are blessed by this video, please like this video and follow this page if you want more video like this. Thank you and God bless you.